Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy T,
And it's your boy D.
And this your boy Jay.
and this is Unquoted, your number one source for pop culture commentary. Let's go. Okay, guys. So today's topic is Little Boosie versus Mike Tyson. So essentially, just in case you guys didn't know, earlier this year, Little Boosie made a comment regarding Dwayne Wade's son, because basically what happened is Dwayne Wade, he went on a whole press release about his son identifying his I think 13-year-old son or 11-year-old. He
Well, 12. I think it's
yeah,
12.
okay, 12-year-old son identifying as a female. And basically what Lil Boosie said is that, hey, don't let him change his personal parts. You know, he's too young to be making these decisions. That's essentially what he said. And then now Mike Tyson is basically just asking Lil Boosie about it. And basically Mike Tyson's perspective was like, hey, like, I actually do kind of agree with you, but it's not really your place to tell someone else how to, raise their kid or what their kid should be doing. So, like, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I agree with Boosie, and overall, I liked how the whole talk went because nobody was like hollering, yelling. Like Mike Tyson really just sat Boosie there just to try to know what Boosie was talking about, and didn't try to like chastise him. He just wanted to like try to get to understand him, and that's what I really liked about it, and also one thing that I really liked was that like Boosie's usually a like hot-headed person, but I guess because he was talking to Mike, he realized that's not the best course of action to like do, because Mike pretty much questioned his sexuality by saying like, hey, like, are you mad because you're secretly gay? Like once Mike said that, I expected Boosie to just go off, but he didn't do that and was able to articulate himself because he wasn't going off. And like I said before, I I think it's all because he's talking to Mike Tyson, a person that will probably fuck him up if like shit goes left. So I just I just enjoyed that whole talk.
What you, Jay?
I kind of feel like Mike Tyson, when he kind of like questioned his sexuality, the fact that Boosie didn't have like a strong reaction to that question and be like, hell no, I ain't gay if that's what you asking me. Like the fact that Boosie didn't have that kind of reaction, I was surprised, and it makes me kind of like skeptical that he had like such a delayed reaction to that question, and then he kind of like didn't say it definitively. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling like Boosie might be suspect potentially. I do kind of feel like that's a possibility. Because anybody who gets asked that question is going to give you like a quick denial, or they might be very vocal about it and get loud. Who knows?
But you have
Especially Boosie with his type of personality, I expected a completely different reaction.
No. I definitely hear you on that. I think the reason why he didn't react like that is because you have to think about how sensitive that community is. Like, you're not even allowed to say that. Like, now it's to the point where it's like you can't really say that you don't even agree with that lifestyle or something is towards that lifestyle. So people are very sensitive on saying like, oh hell no, it's not me. They're more like, okay, that's what I'm saying. People are more sensitive about it now. So I can't really blame Boosie on that. But what else were you saying, Jay?
Yeah, that's a very good point you just made. So maybe he was just trying to tone down like whatever reaction he really wanted to say, and was being very cognitive of that. But I feel like it didn't really match like his normal personality. So I feel like he would have normally reacted to that differently. But if he did filter that due to that circumstance, then I give him credit for doing that. But yeah, it still caught me a little bit off guard. Like the whole thing kind of like just came off. There were just bits and pieces of awkwardness like throughout the interview.
Yeah, like from my perspective is okay. Like the clip, like if you guys seen like that short clip before they even had the interview, it makes it seem like that moment is very intense, and it's not really as intense as it looks when you actually sit down and watch the whole interview.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I agree with D where it's like, no one wants to talk shit to Mike Tyson. So
Exactly.
Boosie was definitely on his best behavior. Not saying that Boosie is like scared of him or anything like that, but Mike Tyson definitely demands respect when he's in the room. The only thing I really didn't like is I didn't like when Mike Tyson questioned Boosie that, because I feel like to me that's always a very weak argument. Like, oh, that means you must be this because you don't like this. And it's like, no, not really. It's the fact that he just disagreed. He doesn't have to be secretly something in order not to agree with something. So I'm never a fan of that argument. But what I'll say about it is like, I do agree with Boosie that decisions like that are very, it's too much for like someone young to really decide. But like my thing is this, and I've always thought this, is that like Dwayne Wade went on a whole like press release tour about his son and putting it out in the media. You can't put something out in the media and then expect no one to have a response to it. Like that's
Exactly.
you know how
Yeah.
like you know how crazy that is. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's like me saying, "Well, I'm putting this out in the media. Everybody has to like it. Everybody has to agree with it, and you can't say anything because it's my son." It's like, no. Then why would you go on a press release about your son and expect no one to like?
Yeah, because none of us had to know like that your son is now trying to be a like she. I mean, we didn't really have to know that, but you chose to put it out there for the whole world to like judge, and that's what Boosie did.
Especially like with all the people that would like all the trolls in the world, all the haters in the world, like the second that you give them some kind of like motive to want to like finally fire back on you for something that you're doing, like they're going to be quick to react and have a quick reaction to that. And there's just like a lot of trolls out here in this world that are going to comment, and you're not going to like the comments that they comment. So everyone always has to be cognitive about what they put out on social media for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I really think it's really dumb for people to come at Boosie or to come at other people who don't agree with the way that Dwayne Wade's doing stuff. I'm not saying like, I'm not saying that like, okay, let me put my thoughts in better order. So basically, what I'm essentially saying is that like, you really can't be mad at people for commenting on it because it's like you're putting it out there. And it's like, if you really don't want someone to comment on your son or your parenting style or any of this, then why put it in the media?
Exactly.
Why? Like I just don't get it. I don't get why you put it in the media. And I don't get why it's somebody else's fault if someone else responds to it. Like you're literally throwing something in someone's face and then saying like, hey, you have to agree with it. It's like, no, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, you're like nail in the coffin right there.
Exactly.
Especially nowadays, people are gonna speak their mind on social media. People are gonna say what the fuck is on their mind. A lot of people in this world don't have filters, so they're gonna say whatever the fuck comes to mind and have no regret about doing it or even think twice about doing it. So it's like you always have to be cognizant of what you post on social media, because you're gonna always get negative. Especially more likely if you're a famous person, you're gonna have a lot of people who give you good comments, and you're gonna have a lot of people who give you terrible, nasty comments. So you have to always be prepared for the good and the bad with whatever you post on social media, especially as a celebrity.
Exactly. But I do think some of the like rage towards Boosie was probably because of the like, way he said it. Because if I remember correctly, Boosie said like, oh, make sure you guys don't chop his dick off or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
he
And
did say that.
that was how he said it. And then it's like saying it like that, it's like, oh, like what the fuck is like, we are just calling him a like she. No one's even like mentioned like chopping off the dick. That might happen later on, but you know what I'm saying? It's just that it was the way he said it. Because all you have to do was like saying like yo, he's like way too young, don't be too rash. Cause honestly, this might just be a phase, bro. I mean, it really could just be a phase. And then he wants to identify as a dude and still be gay or some shit like that. So, yeah.
No, I actually like that's a good point. I didn't even think about that, D. That is a good point. It is the way that he said it. Like before, he really did say it very extreme. So I could see why some people would find it offensive. But I do have to remind people that like nowhere in his statement is he really saying that he doesn't agree with people who are gay or someone who is transgender or something like that. He's not really saying that. He's just saying that like it's just a big decision to make. And I think that's what kind of got misconstrued with what he was saying, that people took it as like he's hating on the gay community, he's hating on transgender community, he's transphobic. So I think people have to realize that come from that community is that like you gotta take the good with the bad, and you gotta take some criticism. Criticism is healthy, and like I said, this is not criticism towards a lifestyle who we choose to be with or anything like that. But I guess it's a criticism in which how to raise their kid. I guess.
Perfect. Man.
So do you guys have any closing thoughts?
My closing thought was we need more world championship fighters doing interviews so niggas don't get mad and like start hooting and like hollering.
I would say everybody should just be aware of what they post on social media, especially if you're a celebrity, and always be ready for the good and the bad that comes with everything in the comments and all the kind of feedback you're going to get from everybody that follows you.
Okay, so my closing statement is that if you don't want someone to comment on your lifestyle, the way you're raising your kid, the way that you're doing something, then don't put it out in the media. It's just as simple as that. You know, if you don't want people making comments about your son, don't make people making comments on anything, don't put it out in the media. And as far as the Mike Tyson interview goes, I really do like it. I think it was a great interview. Like I said, I pretty much liked everything except for him questioning his sexuality, just because, like what I said, I think it's a weak argument. I think that, like, you know, people are fine to not agree with everything. You know, people, we've gotten in this false reality where it's like it's like a yes or no. It's like you have to agree with me or you're bad. You know, and that's just crazy. But this has been your boy T,
And this being your boy D.
This has been your boy Jay.
and we are out.